This is the Music History Today podcast for November the 9th. On today's show, the Wu-Tang Clan debuts and David Bowie walks off stage for the last time. First up, though, on this date in 1961, Brian Epstein watched the Beatles perform during his lunch break for the first time at the Cavern Club in Liverpool, England. And after that, of course, he became their manager, and the rest is history. Speaking of the Beatles, in 1966, John Lennon met Yoko Ono for the first time at an art exposition at the Indica Gallery in London, England. In 1967, Rolling Stone magazine came out with its first issue. John Lennon was the cover on that particular issue. In 1968, Robert Plant of Led Zeppelin married his wife Maureen Wilson in London. In 1969, the TV music special An Evening with Julie Andrews and Harry Belafonte premiered on NBC television. In 1985, the instrumental theme to the Miami Vice TV show by Jan Hammer hit number one on the Billboard Hot 100 singles chart. The chart hasn't had an instrumental song hit number one since then. In 2002, Madonna's song from the James Bond movie Die Another Day hit number 8 on the Billboard singles chart. It was her 35th top 10 single, breaking the Beatles' record for most career top 10 singles in the Hot 100 singles chart. Due to changes in the way singles now get counted on the chart, that record has since been shattered by so many people, including Taylor Swift and Drake. In 2005, 50 Cent's movie Get Rich or Die Trying premiered in movie theaters. In 2006, David Bowie gave what turned out to be his final performance when he performed with Alicia Keys at a charity event at the Hammerstein Ballroom in New York City. They performed the songs Wild as the Wind, Fantastic Voyage, and Changes. The charity event was a fundraiser for Keep a Child Alive, which is an organization that helps to provide assistance to families who are affected by HIV and AIDS in Africa. In 2007, music producer Chris Ivory married actress Ellen Pompeo at City Hall in New York City. In 2018, BTS backlash in Japan became an international news story after BTS member Jaemin caused an international incident earlier in the week by wearing a shirt with an atomic bomb on it while in Japan, which of course the Japanese took as a direct insult, which it probably was, who knows. In award ceremonies that were held on November the 9th, in 2004, Kenny Chesney and Martina McBride were among the big winners at the Country Music Association Awards. In 2011, Taylor Swift and Miranda Lambert were among the big winners at the Country Music Association Awards. And also on that same exact day, the Latin Recording Academy announced that Shakira won their Person of the Year award. Albums that were released on November the 9th include in 1962 when Elvis Presley released Girls, Girls, Girls. In 1970, Derek and the Dominoes released their classic Layla and Other Assorted Love Songs, and Badfinger released No Dice. In 1971, Roberta Flack released her album Quiet Fire. In 1976, Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers released their self-titled album. In 1979, Iron Maiden released the EP The Soundhouse Tapes. In 1981, Men at Work released their big album Business as Usual. I believe they won Best New Artist at the Grammy Awards that year for that particular album. And also on that same day, the Stranglers released La Folie. In 1985, there's a long list of albums. Dokken released Under Lock and Key. Loudness released Thunder in the East. Twisted Sister released Come Out and Play. Wasp released The Last Command. Y&T released Down for the Count. And Aerosmith released Done with Mirrors. In 1986, Killer Dwarfs released Stand Tall. In 1987, Candlemass released Nightfall, and Eurythmics released Savage, which was a big album for them. In 1992, Cher released The Greatest Hits 1965 to 1992. Genesis released The Way We Walk, Volume 1, The Shorts. The Tubes released Best of the Tubes. In 1993, the Wu-Tang Clan released their debut album, Enter the Wu-Tang 36 Chambers. Also released on that day is a huge album, Celine Dion with The Color of My Love. Also, Mark Knopfler with Screenplaying, Phil Collins with Both Sides. Nirvana released Legacy of Noise, which was a bootleg. And The Outlaws released Hittin' the Road. In 1996, the Dubliners released Further Along. In 1997, Golden Earring released Naked 2. In 1999, Tonic released Sugar. 38 Special released Live at Sturgis. Jimmy Buffett released Buffett Live Tuesdays, Thursdays, Saturdays. Queen released Greatest Hits Volume 3. Andrea Bocelli released his album Sacred Arias, which became the second biggest selling classical album of all time, right behind the Three Tenors Live album. In 2004, Poco released The Last Roundup, and Linda Ronstadt released Hummin' to Myself. In 2015, Eric Clapton released Slow Hand at 70 live at Royal Albert Hall. Singles that were released on November the 9th include in 1962 when The Miracles released You Really Got a Hold on Me. In 1964, Elvis Presley released his classic Blue Christmas, one of the biggest selling Christmas songs of all time. In 1966, Aaron Neville released Tell It Like It Is, another classic. In 1971, Elvis Presley released Merry Christmas Baby. In 1973, Steely Dan released My Old School, and Thin Lizzy released The Rocker, both of those in the UK only on that date. Meanwhile, in America, in 1973, Paul Simon released American Tune. In 1979, The Pretenders released Brass in Pocket on special, but only in the UK on that date. In 1981, The Cars did a twofer. They released Shake It Up and Cruiser. In 1987, Michael Jackson released The Way You Make Me Feel, and Peter Gabriel released Biko again. It was a re-release, if memory serves, but only in the UK on that date. Before we continue, we'd like to tell you that we've started Season 2 of the Music History In-Depth podcast, where we go more in-depth on some of the events that we mention on this particular podcast. The Music History In-Depth podcast drops every Tuesday on this podcast network. Now, back to the Music History Today podcast. Artists who were born on November the 9th include rapper French Montana, K-pop singer Momo of the group Twice, producer Mnek, singer and actress Dorothy Dandridge, the legendary Miss Dorothy Dandridge, Tom Fogerty of Creedence Clearwater Revival, Mary Travers of Peter, Paul and Mary, Cisco of Drew Hill, singer Ty Verdes, country music singer Chris Lane, singer Thank You, rapper Roxanne Shante, singer Abigail Barlow, Nick Lachey of 98 Degrees, rapper Scarface of the Ghetto Boys, rapper Peppa of Salt and Peppa, Joe Bashard of Blue Oyster Cult, Roger McGowan of Scaffold, Alan Gratzner of REO Speedwagon, rapper Joe C., who was Kid Rock's sidekick, especially on his huge album Devil Without a Cause, singer Benny Mardones, Phil May of The Pretty Things, Lee Graciano of The American Breed, Dennis Provisor of The Grassroots, Dennis Stratton of Iron Maiden, Tommy Caldwell of the Marshall Tucker Band, singer Hank Mizell, Susan Tedeschi of the Tedeschi Trucks Band, singer Delta Goodrem rounds out the cast on this one. And artists who unfortunately passed away on November the 9th include classical composer Ettore Pozzoli, cellist Frederick Search, jazz pianist Jan Johansson, film composer Stanley Myers, trumpet player Milton Rogers, singer Major Harris, session drummer Andy White, guitarist Al Caiola, Hans Vermeulen of Sandy Coast, entertainer and civil rights activist Miss Paula Wayne, bossa nova singer Gal Costa, guitarist Gary Roberts of the Boomtown Rats, jazz saxophonist Lou Donaldson, folk music singer-songwriter Ella Jenkins, and sarangi player Ram Narayan. Next on the Music History Today podcast, it is November the 10th when in 2014, Mark Ronson and Bruno Mars released their huge hit, Uptown Funk.